Back is back, you guys. This is the second drive. I just adjusted the clutch because it was grinding a little bit in first going into reverse, but it is driving again. I did run the muffler with it upside down like this because it fits, but I couldn't even get out of the driveway because it drags so low. And this towel here is because I got tired of kicking it as I move around the shops. This is a used exhaust, so I know that it fits on a late model Carrera, but this car is not a Carrera, so it has to be modified. The one nice thing is that these pipes that bridge the headers to the muffler, they're connected with these V-bands, and they have a lot of mobility in them. It's almost like a little wrist joint. So we'll have some flexibility in positioning those, and then you can also rotate it. So that's nice. That's how I was able to install it upside down. So normally the Carrera engines have this crossover pipe for the heater system. So the air gets blown from the fan, goes into these heat exchangers, which are just basically boxes welded around the headers, and then it pumps it into the car. So I think that's why the muffler is so far back. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna obviously make the muffler fit. There's probably not enough room here to do that with this pipe in place. So I'll prioritize getting the weight as far forward as possible. And also the heat needs to be away from this painted panel, because you don't want to just bake the paint off of the car. This is not welded on square, so rather than redo the flange, I'm just going to put a new seam in this, but I need to make sure it's clocked in the same orientation. Just for reference, I mean, it spins over here, but it's a good idea just to weld it back the same orientation it was. See, this side's already been welded in the middle anyways, so I'll just, redo that weld. I got this clamped together as tight as I can get it. The gap is like pretty much nothing. That's the drawback to not using the gas purge in the back, but it's not going to make a difference in the exhaust. Okay, I don't know if you can tell, but it's hitting right about here, but it's also running into this. See how it kind of scratched the paint just a little bit? So that just tells me the muffler is at too much of an angle. I think they did that to try to clear, like I said, that heater tube, but I think I need to cut this part of the tube and just make the muffler vertical. So the angle meter is zeroed here, and I'm getting 28.2 on that side. This side I'm getting 30.8. So we need to rotate this up almost vertical, maybe 5-10 degrees max. So that's where it was, and I think we want to be like there. They're fine. Oh dear. I had to put a pie cut in here to change the angle. I can't really bend the tubing, but I can cut it and re-weld it at a new angle to create just a little bit of bend. This is the final adjustment, and I think we got it. See, I knew it would fit. But I gotta be honest, this was a lot of work. It wasn't just cutting these things shorter and everything's just tacked in place. I'm gonna take it off one more time to do all the finish welding. But when you make this shorter, it makes this narrower. So it was a lot of adjusting. The whole angle of the muffler had to be, tilted in. So it was a lot of work, a lot of, pie cuts and bends and lots of different things. This is where I had to bend it again. There's a little bend right there. It does still hang underneath, but I don't think it'll look too bad when it's on the ground. Like I said, it's not my favorite muffler. I don't know how long I'll keep this. I don't have a cutout here anymore. I don't like the cutout. So I'm just gonna have to make it sit a little lower, probably tuck it like way into here. So it's, not as obnoxious. Here's all the pieces I took out of the exhaust. So obviously it's not just measure twice, cut once. It's like measure twice and cut 100 times. Yeah, I like the way it came out. I think it's pretty level. I'm anxious to get the car down and see how much of this is visible, but I think that's about the best I could do with this thing. It was a free exhaust, so I can't really complain. I'll have to modify this bracket as well to be able to either just support it here on the bottom, take some of the weight off the heads, or I would have to use the band clamps, but this is just not gonna fit. It hits those two bolts right there, but I'm too close now to that tray. So there it is. It's pretty tucked underneath there, but like I said, it's probably the simplest thing to do. I'll put the car down on the ground and then maybe adjust it some once I, kind of get the hang of it, because this was a pretty rough cut, so it needs to be trued up a little bit. But for now, at least I can drive the car. Sounds good. Just kind of getting used to the clutch. I think I might have over-adjusted it again. It was grinding a little bit in reverse, which is not good. Now it's releasing a little bit high, but this is awesome. Shifting well. I haven't even left my neighborhood and this thing just wants to go. I'm barely touching the gas and it's like, wow, the torque is incredible. Such a different car than the 912, even though it's the exact same car. The temp is just coming up. I'm shifting around 3,500. It just sounds loud. Here we are in PCH though. Let's open it up a little bit. It's 4,000. Oh man, this is awesome. It definitely goes. Nothing coming from the transmission, and it's not popping out of third gear anymore, which is huge. This transmission was a nightmare with broken input shafts, bad differential carrier housing, a bunch of worn synchros, bearings. It was like everything that could go wrong had gone wrong, and so far it sounds nice and quiet, shifting really good. Oh man, this is awesome. sounds good too. I got all the gauges working, and I don't know if they're calibrated very well, but I have oil pressure is good. The gas gauge is working. Oil temp is just past the first line. Oh, that was 5,500 like that. Oh, this thing is fun. Jeez, this thing is awesome. Hard work is paying off, you guys. Goes right into first. All the gears are working great. Third, fourth, first. It's amazing. Let's try fifth gear. Not going fast enough. Yeah. Easy to get into fifth. Totally different car than the 912. I did have to adjust the ride height in the back. It's about an inch lower with extra weight. But in just driving it, like, I mean, I haven't really done much performance driving, but I don't feel like it's super duper heavy. It just feels like it's light and nimble and wants to go. That was just a little bit of power coming around a turn, and it already started to step out a little bit. It's a little gurgly on deceleration. I don't know if you can hear that. Pull over and check for oil leaks, because this is probably the first time it's had oil in the front oil cooler. All right, no leaks. That's awesome. The front oil cooler is getting warm, so that means oil's up there. And I think this is going to be a fun car at Rennsport, you guys. So if you see me there next weekend, please say hello. Let's hope it makes it. Fingers crossed. I wish I could do more driving shots and, you know, cool video stuff on this car, but I'm just out of time. It's been an exhausting week, kind of a pun with the exhaust, but you know, we got it running, and it's got, you know, a couple days to spare before Rennsport. So I'm going to try to get a few more things working, like the instrument lights. But in general, this thing, it's a driver, and it's going to be a great time. Cheers.